Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean from Keeping Rock Alive, and welcome to an introduction to string skipping. For all these exercises, we're going to be holding the same chord. You can use any chord you want, but for the sake of example, we're going to be using an open G major chord, like this. And we're going to be holding that chord through all the exercises because right now we're really focusing on the right hand in the picking. With all these exercises, you should make sure you're doing strict alternate picking through the entire thing. So string skipping is essentially when you're playing notes and instead of moving from one string to the one right next to it, you skip that string. So we're going to start with one string skipping, which means we're picking one note, skipping one string, and picking the one beneath that. And we're going to continue that pattern up to the high E and then back down to the low E, and it sounds like this. The next thing we could do is the same notes, the same string skips, except playing each note 2 times. And then again, we could take the same notes and do it in triplets. So each note 3 times. And finally, we can do the same thing, but now with 16th notes. You should repeat this process of moving from single notes to doubled to triples and then to 16th notes with all the following examples. And one more thing we could do with single string jumps is because there's 6 strings, we could do pick the first note, skip a string, pick the next, and then skip again and pick the next. And that sounds like this. Once you've mastered 1 string jumps, you can start working on 2 string jumps, which is essentially the same idea, except once we pick a note, instead of skipping over 1 string, we're skipping over 2. Like going from the low E to the G. So the same basic exercise now with 2 string jumps sounds like this. Then once you've mastered the double string jump, you can move on to the triple string jump, which is essentially the same idea. Picking a note on the low E, for example, and then the next string, you skip 3 strings and you pick the B string. And a similar example like the previous one sounds like this. Again, this should also be done with doubles, triples, and 16th notes. Finally, you can do a 4-string jump, which means because there's only 6 strings, you're playing the low E, skipping 4 strings and playing a note on the high E. And a good way to practice this sounds like this. With all these examples, you should make sure to play them very slowly at first. Don't try to speed them up. You want to really focus on your right hand and make sure that you're sticking to the alternate picking throughout, as well as making sure that with each string skip, you're only hitting the target string and not accidentally brushing against any others. Finally, a really good example of the application of this idea we can find in the Immigrant Song, which is a classic riff from Led Zeppelin. The riff is 2 notes and it utilizes a single string jump, and it sounds like this. And slowed down, it looks like this. And basically this is a really good exercise for just getting that single string jump, which is incredibly common in lots of riffs, solos, etc. really nailed and help you bring that technique up to speed. That's all for this lesson. Make sure to subscribe and follow us at facebook.com/KRAguitar.